Hello, welcome to the queue. We've got an unboxing here of a gift that was sent to me from Moffet Field. And on the left here, we've got the beginnings of some painting process on the planes from the Midway game, which is relevant to what's inside the box. So when you're going to send it, a gift, boy, look at that. The post office, they know exactly where this is going to be delivered to the queue. It's kind of cool. But it is from the Game Crafter. And what they do is they can build to your specifications these counters. And these are counters from the Conflict of Heroes game. And, there's tanks and trucks and artillery and, and then infantry units. And all sorts of different things. You can see we've punched out the ones we've started using. We haven't gotten down here to some of the cooler tanks, though. That'll be coming up someday, I'm sure. But I digress. So anyway, we've had discussions about the Midway game, about some rules, about some things, that we liked and didn't like, and rule clarifications and even some customizations. And this here is an item that he has customized, and he showed me through the process, and then he went ahead and sent me a set. So thank you very much. And there's the Game Crafter, their little card signia. But the first item in here is, if you will know from the game, and I don't have those counters out, the bombs and torpedoes. And then, of course, you've got your counter for victory. But, boy, you really shouldn't have that on the same counter because you need it for both. All right, well, I'll drop that in the mail. You got all these empty spots, so you could have added it there, I guess. But that is your ordnance markers. Second one in here looks like the convoy ships. Is that what that? Yeah. So you can kind of see the little, not convoy, transport ships. You kind of see the little transports in there. So Japan has 2 stacks of 8. And they have white dice, and then they have a convoy marker that you put on, not white dice, I'm messing up here big, white chips. So you replace the white chips with these transport markers. So there is 16 for the game. And I'm not sure what the attack and move, that must be for a different part of the game. I'll have to look at that. But here is the meat. I'm gonna get that box out of here now. So here's where you can see the actual markers that are to take place of the planes, and you'll notice that on these they have lots of detailed information about what the unit does. So, matter of fact, I can just get that off the board. Oh, I accidentally punched one out. Cool. All right, so, and they are color coordinated. And if you've played the game or watched the videos, you'll know that, the planes from this carrier will have that chip under them. And this carrier here will have the red chip. And then planes from Midway will have the white chip. Here's another plane from a different carrier, has the green. And you'll see on here that he has, if I can get that close enough, the green carrier planes with the chips are from the Yorktown. And then the red chips will be from the Kaga. So, interesting detail. There's the Midway from the island. So, goes through all the different carriers, all the different colors, all the different planes, and all sorts of information. So my assumption here, and there would be one of the patrol PBYs, So there's probably some Japanese patrol planes in here as well. Oh, here's another interesting thing. It has the pilot of this plane, Fujitsu. I thought I saw one on one of those first ones. Let me go back there. Yeah, here's one from the Hornet, George Gay. So I guess it's got some of the pilots' names on some of these planes that actually had some fame and fortune. Some of them, though, did not make it. Here's the Japanese patrol aircraft, has the binoculars. That's kind of a neat feature. So they are one for every ship, or every plane. So I've got all these planes that go with all these different carriers, and they have all these different colored chips that you'll put on. So like a fighter from the Yorktown would be on that green chip as such. But you could use these as well. And they have other information on here as well. The torpedo bomber, dive bomber, and then Japan's torpedo bombers are called attack bombers because they could carry torpedoes or they could do horizontal bombing. I don't know if they could do dive bombing. I guess I should have looked into that beforehand. But you can see their movement here in the bottom corner. That's handy. Most of the planes are 3. There are some that are 2, though, which I think the torpedo bombers, the U.S. torpedo bombers, move 2. I'll have to look that up now. So my assumption is that movement is 3. Yeah, because here's the scout plane moves 2. All right, it's looking, well, where's that Japanese scout? Well, it has 3, but it only moves 2. All right, well, I'll have to look at that. Some of the other items that you'll see on the card here is the drops of oil. And there's a 1, there's a 2, there's a 3. So what that is to do is to take place of these fuel markers. So you've got, well, of course they're not going to stay as I tilt it back, they're sliding off, but you get the idea. So let's take that patrol plane out of there. So you can place it on the map. So if you designate the top of the map as where all the markers will indicate, so you will have this plane as it launches. So you see here, it'll have the 3 fuel. You would have that to the top of the map, and then when you reduce the fuel, you would turn it to a 2, and then a 1. And I believe the flip side has the out of fuel and return to base. The other interesting thing here, when you're using the planes on the carrier operations, you can have it as land or refuel, because once they land out of fuel, then the next turn they got to refuel. So that's pretty cool, and I think all the planes on the flip side have those designations. So you're basically taking out these markers and these chips, and you've got all your information contained on one counter. So that's pretty cool. I like those, and that he created these on a program and sent it to that game crafter. They printed them off and sent them out. So once again, thank you, Moffet Field, for sending those to me. We've got an idea on how we're going to use these. One of the customization discussions that we've had, sort of, is the ability of this Midway game to be played blind, or like the old Battleship game, where the other side doesn't see the map. So you can't tell where exactly everything is, as you have these search planes to do your work for you, to search and find. So we've got some ideas on that. I've actually purchased a second map for that game with the counters. I didn't get the planes, As you can see, it comes with quite a few planes. But I think I have an idea for using these. Say the American would be sitting on one side and he would have the Japanese counters on his side. So whenever he discovers or wherever they're attacked by, then he can use these counters to kind of track what has come in, what's lost, you know, so kind of he has somewhat of an idea of what's left without being totally blind. So I think that'll work out nicely. And then true, we might try it just with these counters and see how that goes. We may like that even better. And then these planes will just go over to the Axis and Allies game, which, you know, some of these are anyway. I've put some magnets on there, so they'll get drafted over into that pile. So a lot of interesting pieces here, and I appreciate the gift very much. We'll get those into action, and until next time, keep rolling dice.